Good afternoon, everyone. So I am back, yes, and I'm in my front room. So what I want to talk about today, real quick, guys, is UK Special Forces, British Special Forces, and the war crimes allegations that have been brought against them. Now, I'm going to give context to this. This is going to be a really short live stream as well, because I just want to check the camera out because I think I'm going to start live streaming in here. So I want to check the camera. I want to check the sound. So I thought I'd just do this because I was on the live stream earlier and I didn't get through half of the stuff that I wanted to get through. So this is, multifunctional. First one is to test the camera, test the sound, make sure I can stream in here. Second of all, I want to talk about the British Special Forces and the war crimes allegations that are being put towards them. So in the United Kingdom, we're in a very peculiar place where we are funding masses, I mean funding to the tone of absolute billions, failed machinery. So we are funding, I think General Dynamics built a system called Ajax or AX or whatever it's called. It's this armored vehicle, basically. Now, as I understand it, that cost allegedly, obviously I don't have a receipt book, but from what I understand, that cost £5 billion to develop that vehicle. Phenomenal amount of money. Now, this is an article from today, guys, released today. The use of Ajax in the British Army has been suspended. Defence Minister misled about the vehicle's safety. So this is £5 billion, right? That is that is a lot of money. So the British MOD have spent, where's that money gone? I don't know, because we certainly don't have a vehicle at the end of it because the vehicles have been shelved. They can't use the vehicles because they're too dangerous. What happened initially in the trials of this vehicle is the operators of that vehicle, it was so loud inside, they were deaf and they had to get discharged from the military because it made them deaf. I don't think that's a good way to do war. Anyway. Then we've got the British Army has pulled a fleet of 6,000 support vehicles from their fleet because of faulty bolts. Now, so take all this holistically. Now there is an actual targeted approach to targeting UK Special Forces for things that they may or may not have done. Now, I don't know what the allegations are. Nobody does. I've tried to find out, and I'm going to lead with an article here from the BBC. Now, all it says here is Special Forces, SAS war crimes, actually. SAS war crimes evidence suppressed, an inquiry here. Now, I don't know what these war crimes are. I've tried to find out what it is. It doesn't really matter. But let's just contextualize this as well, guys, all right? Because we know that in the United Kingdom, there was a police officer in the United Kingdom who was arresting someone, and I think they said, "Stop squealing, you bitch," or something like that, or suka, if you want to use the Russian. Now, he got suspended for calling someone a bitch while he was trying to arrest them. So if this is something like this, that they're alleging war crimes where somebody, where one of the Special Forces guys didn't use the correct pronouns, then it's ridiculous. Now, I don't think war crimes for a soldier should even be a thing. Why am I saying that? Of course, I'm not saying that people shouldn't be prosecuted. Of course they should if they commit a crime while they're at war. But the real war crime, tell me if I'm wrong, guys, the real war crime is from the politicians who send them, because there's only two options here. There's only two options. There's option one, where the war crime it's a war crime because the politicians who sent them there, they had no rights or foundation to send them there. And if we are sending our soldiers overseas, to fight a war in country X, then they should be prepared. And if they're not prepared, then those politicians who sent them should be held liable. If those politicians believe that those soldiers are prepared and they go over there and something goes wrong, then they're not prepared and the politicians should be held liable again. So in either context here, guys, we've got this very peculiar situation right now where ultimately we are heading towards a global conflict on an industrial scale, and all conflicts, all wars are won and lost by private soldiers on the front line with bayonets fixed. And this is the ultimate, I feel this is the ultimate betrayal of our soldiers. So I'll just read you that. I'll read you the headline here, guys. Two former Two former heads of all UK Special Forces suppressed evidence of possible SAS war crimes. So what they're talking about here is the Director of Special Forces. So you know, in the United Kingdom, everybody hears SAS and they think that's it. There's not. There's lots of different Special Forces groups. So the heads of the Special Forces, that would be Director of Special Forces. A former high-ranking officer has told a public inquiry in closed evidence sessions. The officer, who was among the most senior, and this is an article from the BBC released today, guys. The officer, who was among the most senior in Special Forces, said he had passed what he called explosive evidence suggesting criminal behavior to the then Director of Special Forces in 2011. So I don't know what this is. I don't think that the public need to know. You know, they're calling this incident November 1466. Now, is this where we are, guys? Do we really want to make all this information public? Do we want to have this amount of information come out to the public so everybody can scrutinize what's happening? I don't think this is something that I don't think this is something that we need to be, I don't think this is where we need to be going at the moment. Can you imagine now, right? We send our young lads and girls and men and women, excuse me, so we send our young men and women overseas. Let's just say we send them to Ukraine. Let's just say this gets announced in February. In the back of their minds, they're going to be worried about being sent to court when they came back. And a lot, you know, we may have we may have conscription in the United Kingdom very soon, and they won't call it conscription. It would be, you know, it would be, what would it be? Maybe mandatory military service or something like that. And we're just really in a wild time at the moment, guys. We really are in a wild time. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, listen, I just wanted to get this video out there. I just want to upload it. I want to see what the video quality is like. I wanted to talk about that. I wanted to use that as the crux of this live stream. But anyway, guys, I'm going to close this down now. And you guys have been fantastic. And I will speak to you guys later. I'm probably going to try and mess about with the camera and stuff in here for a while, but I'll see you guys in a bit.